ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Do we need to actually put a reminder for the session, or has that been put? Or is it just the holiday season that we are missing some devotees today? Okay, someone can put a reminder and we can continue. So we are on chapter 12 of Canto 1, which is entitled Birth of Emperor Parikshit. And in the last session, we covered the first 17 verses. So in this chapter, we saw that Shaunaka Rishi in the beginning revisits his original question, which he asked in the fourth chapter about Mahārāja Parīkṣit's birth. And he asked Suta Goswami once again that how Parikshit Maharaj was saved from the Brahmastra in Uttara's womb. And how did his life go, how he died, and what happened even after his death. So these kind of questions Shaunaka Rishi asked Suta Goswami. And Suta Goswami has been narrating many other Krishna-related topics in the last few chapters, which were all relished by the sages. But now they wanted to again come back and to this original discussion that they wanted to know about Parikshit Maharaja's birth, activities, and his leaving this world. The sages glorify Parikshit Maharaj while asking the question itself. They mention that the Parikshit Maharaj is a very intelligent. He is highly intelligent. He is very heroic. So he is Mahabuddhe. He has done Mahakarma, and he is a great devotee. He is a Mahatma. And we talked about the Vaishnava culture based on this and few other verses in the last session. So Suta Goswami starts describing Parikshit Maharaja's birth But even before he starts speaking about Parikshit Maharaj, he glorifies the family background of Parikshit Maharaj, the family in which Parikshit Maharaj is going to be appearing. So that family he glorifies. So he mentions how Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, who's the king and also the grandfather of Parikshit Maharaj, how he was ruling the kingdom. So Sutta Goswami mentions that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj ruled like a father. He was free from selfish desires and he was protecting all beings. And when he said all beings, it is not all humans, but all beings, humans, animals, plants, and birds, everyone was getting protected. And it was mentioned that Sutta Goswami was mentioning that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaja's fame, opulence, and sacrifices and virtues, they were heard even in the higher planetary systems. And despite this unmatched opulence that Yudhiṣthira Maharaj had, he was fully detached. And the reason why he was fully detached was because of his mind was completely focused on Mukunda. That is what the true renunciation is. So in such a noble family, Parikshit Maharaj was conceived and he was destined to be a great devotee. So while in the womb, so then Sutta Goswami continues how the Brahmastra was attacking Parikshit Maharaj in the womb. And while in the womb, being afflicted by the Brahmastra, Parikshit Maharaj directly got darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who came to protect him. And the Lord appeared in a form which was possible for Parikshit Maharaj to see. So he came in a form which was thumb-sized. It was four-armed, and it was a transcendental form. And he was wearing yellow garments, golden crown, and wielding a club. And Parikshit Maharaj also saw that the Brahmastra, even though it is invincible weapon in the material world, but the Supreme Lord easily, effortlessly neutralized that weapon. And we saw the analogy which was given, like the dew, the morning dew, they evaporate, like those drops of water on the plants, they get evaporated by the sun very easily. And then after that, the Lord disappeared from the vision of Parikshit Maharaj. And then at the auspicious moment, Parikshit Maharaj was born, and he was strong like his forefathers. And Yudhiṣthira Maharaj did various Vedic samskaras for him. And Parikshit was named Vishnurat, one who is personally protected by the Lord Vishnu. So he is personally protected. It was not like the Lord protects everyone, all the living entities. But Vishnurat, Parikshit Maharaj was protected personally by the Lord. It signifies how great and how first class first class devotee Parikshit Maharaj is, who received Lord's direct protection. So that is where we had finished last time. So let us go to 18th verse. Shri Rajuvacha Appeshavamshan Rājarṣin Punyashlokan Mahatmanaha Anuvartitas Vidyashasa Sadhuvadena Sattamaha. Yes, Sudharma Mataji and then Bhageshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Danda.
The good king Yudhiṣṭhira inquired, O great souls, will he become a saintly king, as pious in his very name and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking the brāhmaṇas who are assembled there for performing the samskaras. So he asked them that will Parikshit Maharaj become a king as saintly and as famous as others in this great dynasty? And Srila Prabhupada explains nicely that the king has, at a high level, he has two important duties. The first one is that the king should become a devotee himself, and he should rule the kingdom taking the guidance of saintly people and make the kingdom very prosperous and devotional. So that is the first part. That itself like is a big thing, right? He has to become a good devotee king. He should rule the kingdom under the guidance of the saintly people, and then he has to make the subjects as well devotees. But the second point at the middle of the paragraph, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the second thing is he must also leave an heir apparent equally qualified to rule over the innocent citizens. So not only the king has to be a devotee and rule the kingdom properly, but he also should provide a heir apparent equally qualified to him. So that heir, his crown prince or who is going to be the king after him, that person should also be equally qualified to rule the kingdom. And that is the reason Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking this question to know if Parikṣit Maharaj is going to be a devotee king. Is he going to be a rājarṣi? So that is what he has asked in the words. Apesha Vamshan Rājarṣin. So there have been many rājarṣis in this lineage. Will Parikṣit Maharaj be also a rājarṣi? That is a question he is asking. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking. Now this section, you will see 18 to 29, the brāhmaṇas are glorifying Parikṣit Maharaj. And they are not like like the people who are just glorifying for the sake of glorifying, just because they are standing in front of Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, who is the king, and he is asking, how is my grandchild going to be? So just to please him, they are not actually giving some qualities so that they will get some dakshina out of him. That's not the purpose. They are great astrologers as well, these brāhmaṇas. So Srila Prabhupada says that they are talking about future history of Parikṣit Maharaj. So they are looking at what Parikṣit Maharaja's qualities are, or they are going to be, and what kind of activities he is going to do. And based on that, they are actually now going to answer Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. Let us see. Shri Brahmana Uchuhu Partha Prajavita Sakshad Ikṣvākur Iva Manavaha Brahmanya Satyasandhasya Ramo Dasharthir Yatha.
The learned Brahmana said, O son of Pritha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikṣvāku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahmanical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Rāma, the personality of Godhead, the son of Mahārāja Dasharatha.
Thank you, Mahārāja. So I have taken this table and it is across the two slides. So these are showing all the qualities that Parikṣit Maharaj has and to whom he has been compared with. And the numbers in the front are the verses. So for example, in this 19th verse, he has been compared to King Ikṣvāku, who is the son of Manu, and to Lord Ram. So this verse is saying that in maintaining all those who are born, he'll be like Manu's son, Ikṣvāku. And for following the Brahmanical principles, especially being true to his promise, Parikṣit Maharaj is going to be like Lord Ram. Now just look at the names and the qualities that Parikṣit Maharaj is compared to. So you will see further as well, but in this slide itself, you can see Ikṣvāku, Lord Ram, King Śibi, Bharata, then Arjuna, then Lord Krishna as well is coming in the next slide. So many great personalities. Parikṣit Maharaj has qualities. And these personalities, for example, King Śibi was very charitable. Ikṣvāku was maintaining everyone. So they are famous just by that one quality that they have. But Parikṣit Maharaj has all those qualities with these great personalities had. So imagine how glorious Parikṣit Maharaj is. Now, only when we understand how great Parikshit Maharaj is, only then we can understand that how foolish it was to curse him to die in 7 days just because of one small offense that he had done. Because otherwise, we will think that, okay, Kshatriya is offending a Brahmana and he deserves to be killed like this. But Parikshit Maharaj is not an ordinary person. He's a first-class devotee. He's a pure Vaishnava. As well as a king as well, he had such wonderful qualities. And such kings have to be protected. And the Brahmana have to be tolerant and then forgiving as well to any small offenses that such king may do. So this is giving us the background. And in 17th and 18th chapter, then further activities are going to come. And in between, now again, from 13 to 16, few other topics are going to get discussed in the further chapters. So Srila Prabhupada has actually given in this section, like from this 19 to 29, whenever these great personalities are mentioned, Srila Prabhupada gives some background about them. So about King Ikṣvāku, it is Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. First of all, Srila Prabhupada mentions, Praja means the living beings who has taken his birth in the material world. So Praja just doesn't mean human beings. Praja means everyone who has taken birth in this material world. And the king has to maintain all those who are born. So that means all the plants, animals, birds, reptiles, everyone needs to be protected, and because they also have the right to live in this world. And it is king's duty to protect them. And Srila Prabhupada, in the first paragraph, he gives the transmigration of the soul. In a very brief paragraph, Srila Prabhupada mentions everything about the living entities. Living entity has no birth or death. But because of his separation from the service of the Lord and due to his desire to lord it over material nature, Srila Prabhupada says these two things. Because we get separated from the service of the Lord, and because of our desire to lord it over the material nature, that is why we are offered a suitable body to satisfy our material desires. And then we go through this 8.4 million species of life, depending on our desire. And while we are doing like that, Lord is still protecting us. Lord is still protecting us, either directly himself or through his representatives like rājarṣi, the kings like rājarṣis which are there. And the saintly kings give the protection to all praja, not just humans. And we can see, like those who have read Srimad Bhagavatam further and know about Parīkṣit Maharaj, they know that when Parīkṣit Maharaj, when he was touring the kingdom, he saw once that a cow and a bull was almost going to get killed by personality of Kali. So he immediately protected them. He immediately protected the cow and the bull, and he punished the Kali. So this is how he is showing this characteristic. And Srila Prabhupada also refers to Bhagavad Gita 4.1, where Ikṣvāku has been mentioned. So sun god, so Krishna gave the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to sun god, who passed it on to his son, who's the seventh Manu, called Vaivasvata Manu. And his son was King Ikṣvāku. And this Bhagavad Gita knowledge was passed down like that, from Krishna to sun god to Vaivasvata Manu to Ikṣvāku. And that is how the knowledge was passed. But then over a period of time, that knowledge cycle was broken, the chain was broken, and that is why then Krishna decided to give that knowledge again to Arjuna. That is what he mentions there in the 4th chapter. So that is where Ikṣvāku was mentioned. And why it is mentioned that King Ikṣvāku was maintaining all those who are born? So Srila Prabhupada mentions here that Ikṣvāku prohibited meat eating, and that is how he protected everyone. And that is why Parikṣit Maharaj is compared to King Ikṣvāku for maintaining all those who are born. Then, speaking about Lord Ram, Srila Prabhupada in one page gives the entire Ramayana. So if you want to understand Ramayana in one page, just read this page where it starts from Lord Ram, and just within one page, all important events, what has happened are given. And Parikshit Maharaj is compared to one particular quality. Lord Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and he has unlimited qualities. But here, a quality that is compared to is the following of the Brahminical principles, and especially being true to his promise. So Parikshit Maharaj, just like Lord Ram, once the promise is given, it is given. Then the words will not change. He will act as per that promise given. And we see this from Lord Ram's life. Whatever promises, whatever words that he has given, he has always fulfilled those words. Even his father's promises, which father gave to Kaikeyi. But to fulfill those promises, Lord Ram gave up his kingdom, gave up his throne. He was going to get coronated the next day, but he gave up his throne and he went to exile for 14 years. And even after Dashrath Maharaja's death, even when Bharat Maharaj came to take him back, and at that time he would have said that, "Arey, now the promise of going to this exile was given to Dashrath Maharaj. Now he is gone. I can go back. Bharat Maharaj is also come. All the other subjects of Ayodhya, they have come to take me back. All the ministers, including Vasishtha Muni, has come. So I can just accept it and I can go back." But no, he had given the promise, he will fulfill the promise. He remained in exile for 14 whole years. Earlier as well, when he gave the promise to protect Vishwamitra and his yajna. So he fulfilled that promise by killing Tataka and Subahu. Srila Prabhupada has given so many events there. And then he fulfilled the promise to protect Sita by going through so much effort to rescue her. He fulfilled the promise given to Sugriva to regain his kingdom by killing Bali. He fulfilled the promise to grant shelter to anyone who sincerely surrenders. That was the promise that he has given. So he fulfilled that promise by giving shelter to even Vibhishan, who is Ravana's brother. And then finally making him the king of Lanka. He remained Ekapatni Vrata. That was the promise that he gave to Sita. He did not marry anyone else apart from Mother Sita. The kings or the Kshatriyas at that time, they were allowed to accept many wives. But he just accepted one wife, which was Sita. So many promises, and he fulfilled all of those promises. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj will follow all the Brahminical principles, including being true to the promise. Whatever words that he has spoken, he will fulfill those words. Okay, moving ahead to verse number 20. एष दाता शरण्यश्च यथा ह्यौषि नराशिभिः यशो वीतनिता स्वानां दौष्यन्तीरिव यज्वनाम्.
The child, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the child will be a magnificent donor of charity and protector of the surrendered, like the king Śibi of the Kusinara country. And he will expand the name and fame of his family like Bharata, the son of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So now he is compared here in this verse to King Śibi and Bharat Maharaj. So King Śibi, the quality that is highlighted here, that Parikshit Maharaj will be as munificent donor of charity and protector of the surrendered as King Śibi. And Srila Prabhupada gives the brief story of King Śibi. So Kshatriyas, they have these Ishvara Bhava. Kshatriya kings, they have Ishvara Bhava. They give protection to the surrendered and they are very charitable as well. These are actually Lord's quality. Ishvara Bhava, the Lord is controller, Lord is protector. But because the king is a representative of the Lord on earth, hence they must also have these qualities of Ishvara Bhava. So they give protection to anyone who surrenders to them. Even their enemy surrenders to them, they will give protection. And also, they are very charitable. So Srila Prabhupada mentions this story of King Śibi, that once what happened was, King of Heaven, Indra, he took the form of eagle and Agni Dev took the form of a pigeon. And this eagle started chasing the pigeon to eat the pigeon. The eagles eat pigeons. So the pigeon, while being chased by this eagle, he took shelter on the lap of Maharaj Śibi. And then Śibi gave protection to this pigeon. And then after that, eagle came and he said that this is my food, give it to me. He said, no, now that pigeon has taken shelter, my shelter, so I will not be able to give pigeon to you. How about I give you some other meat? And that way you can satisfy your hunger. The eagle said, nothing doing. I want this pigeon only. I will eat this pigeon. That is what I want. So after a lot of back and forth and some negotiation, finally the eagle agrees that, okay, I will not eat any other meat, but because you want to protect this pigeon, why don't you give me your own flesh, which is equal to weight of this pigeon? And King Śibi agrees to that. So they started weighing, that they put pigeon on one side of the balance, and the King Śibi, with a weapon, he starts cutting his flesh and put it on the other side. But because this was all the pastime, the pigeon, like no matter how much flesh King Śibi was putting on the other side of the balance, the pigeon was always becoming heavy, remaining heavy. So he put some more flesh, more flesh, more flesh. But finally, it was still heavy. So King Śibi sat himself on the other side. That means he was ready to offer his entire body, his entire life to the eagle in exchange of protecting just this simple pigeon. Like there are so many pigeons. And king is a protector of the entire country. But Śibi was so charitable. He said, I have actually given shelter to this pigeon. Now it is my duty to save him, no matter what. And he's ready to go through any difficulty to fulfill that promise. So that is the greatness of Śibi. So when King Śibi sat himself on the other side of the balance, then Indra and Agni Dev showed their true form. They were very pleased with King Śibi, and they disclosed their identity, and then the king was blessed by them. And that he was ready to protect this pigeon, even though personally he would have to actually go through so much difficulty, and he was ready to offer himself as well in charity to protect the pigeon. So Parīkṣit Maharaj will be as munificent donor of charity as Śibi, and he will be protector of the surrendered. Then Bharat Maharaj here, because there are so many other Bharat Maharajas as well. Srila Prabhupada mentions that there are 3 Bharat Maharajas who are very, very famous. One is brother of Lord Ram. Second one is son of Rishabhadev. So that Bharat Maharaj. And then son of Maharaj Dushyanta and Shakuntala's son, which is Bharat Maharaj. So here specifically being referred to is Dushyanti Bharata. That means son of Dushyanta, that Bharat Maharaj. And Parīkṣit Maharaj will expand the name and fame of his family just like Bharat Maharaj, who is the son of Dushyanta, did. There are some commentators, they think that the Bharatvarsha, the name of this earth planet, it became Bharatvarsha because of this Bharat, which is Dushyantha's son. But Srila Prabhupada says actually it is not because of this Bharat, but it is because of the Bharat Maharaj, who's the son of Rishabhdev. But irrespective of that, Bharat Maharaj, who's the son of Dushyanta, he was very, very famous, and he made the name and fame of the family even grow further. So, and you can see actually this Dushyanta's Bharat was so famous, and he is the ancestor of the Pandavas. So sometimes in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna calls Arjuna or other Pandavas as Bharata. Bharata means they are the descendants of King Bharat. So that is why they are called Bharata. So this King Bharat was very powerful and very famous. Actually, all of these qualities are showing to us that what kind of qualities we have to be developing. Now, some of the qualities are specific to Kshatriyas, like the next one, which is coming amongst the great bowmen. Like, we are not going to be learning how to be to operate the bow and arrows. But we can be as skillful as possible in Krishna's service instead of that. And just like Parīkṣit Maharaj expanded the name and fame of his family. So it is our duty to expand the name and fame of our ISKCON family. That we have to become as best a devotee as possible, so that anyone who looks at us and sees our actions, hears our words, they should be thinking, wow, these devotees of ISKCON, they are wonderful. I'm sure Srila Prabhupada and his disciples and his grand disciples are teaching all these devotees very nicely. So that is how the name and fame of our family will grow. We can be munificent donor of charity like King Śibi, and we should be protecting the surrendered. Like no matter how much difficulties that we have to go through. Like most of the time we are ready to help others as long as we are in the comfortable situation. Like if we have $1,000, then people will be ready to give $10 out of that $1,000 because it is not pinching us. We will still have $990. $10 loss is nothing. So I can easily give $10. But imagine if you have only $10 and at that time somebody is asking to give $10, that is your entire property is now asked and you are ready to give it. Even though you are going to be in difficulty, you are ready to help others. So this is what the qualities Parīkṣit Maharaj, the great devotee of the Supreme Lord, had. And all of these qualities are explained so that we can actually learn from these qualities and try to develop at least some fraction, 1% or 0.01% of these qualities in us. We should be following the Brahminical principles. We should be truthful to our promise. Once we actually give our word, then we should not be required to actually sign another document or whatever. The words are, they themselves should be enough. That people should have faith that, oh, such and such person has said this. That means that will happen. So that kind of qualities that we should develop. We should be compassionate to all the living entities, just like King Ikṣvāku was, like Parīkṣit Mahārāja was. So that is the reason why all these qualities are mentioned in so much of detail. Okay, let us move ahead. Text 21. Dhanvinam graniresha tulyascha yordvayo hutasha iva durdharsha samudra iva dustaraha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Amongst great bowmen, this child will be as good as Arjuna. He will be irresistible as fire and as unsurpassable as the ocean. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada mentions again, there are multiple Arjunas. One is Arjuna, who is his grandfather, and also there is another Arjuna called Kartaviri Arjuna. But here Srila Prabhupada has focused on Arjuna, his grandfather. And Srila Prabhupada has been very generous. He has written 4 whole pages of purport on Arjuna. If you just want to understand the life story of Arjuna, all the things great things that he had done, just read this purport. Very wonderful. Arjuna, who is the grandfather of Parīkṣit Mahārāja, he was the best of the bowmen. He single-handedly defeated all the Kaurava army, including Bhishma, Drona, Karna, everyone at the war at the kingdom of Virata. So at the Virat kingdom, at the end of their exile, he fought with them and he defeated all of them. And this entire purport is talking about various other things, like the birth, like Arjuna's birth from Kunti, how she prayed to Indra, and then Arjuna was born. And then his marriages to Draupadi, Subhadra, Chitrangada, Ulupi, and then he got 4 sons called Shrutakirti, Abhimanyu, Babruvahan, and Iravan. All of those 4 sons from these 4 queens that he got. Then how he became a favorite disciple of Dronacharya, how he received best of the military trainings, how he saved Dronacharya once, and then he received this Brahmashira weapon or the Brahmastra weapon from Dronacharya. Then how he protected a demon called Mayasura, and how he burned down the Khandava forest. And then he defeated, while he was burning the Khandava forest, Indra was unhappy. And Indra attacked, but Indra is his father, but Arjuna defeated Indra. And various other devatas also came to help Indra, but Arjuna defeated all of them. And then they were pleased with Arjuna, and they gave him various weapons, their own weapons that they offered to Arjuna. And then this Mayasura demon gave him this conch shell called Devadatta. Arjuna's conch shell was given by Mayasura at that time. He even fought with Lord Shiva and pleased him, and that is when Lord Shiva gave him Pashupatastra. He helped Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj by defeating various kingdoms, various different kings at the time of Ashwamedha Yajna that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj did. And of course, as we all know, he received Bhagavad Gita from Lord Shri Krishna. And towards the end of this purport, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that even when Vasudeva passed away, Krishna's father passed away, the funeral for Vasudeva was also done by Arjuna, because by then Krishna had already left. And it is mentioned that at the time of Mahaprasthana, when they decided to actually now give up their body and give up their kingdom and everything, and they started going towards Himalaya, at that time, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked Arjuna to give up all his weapons. And Arjuna, all of his life, he had actually acquired all these wonderful weapons. He just dropped them in the water as if they were useless. So his detachment is also shown there. So many things are mentioned about Arjuna. I'm just briefly talking about it, because Kartaviri Arjuna is also mentioned. Kartaviri Arjuna, it was also another very powerful, strong king. And he was also a great bowman. He actually prayed to Lord Dattatreya. And when Dattatreya was pleased with him, he received the boon. And in the boon, he received 1,000 arms. Like you and I have 1 or 2, like 2 arms. He received 1,000 arms. Extraordinary strength and the mastery of weapons and victory over earth. These are the boons that he received. And he ruled for thousands of years. And he was so powerful that once Ravana wanted to check who's more powerful. And he attacked Kartaviri Arjuna. And Kartaviri Arjuna easily defeated him and even imprisoned Ravana. Finally, he released him. But Ravana was easily defeated by Kartaviri Arjuna. And then finally, in the past times, what happened was that he killed Jamadagni Rishi because he wanted Kamadhenu that was with Jamadagni Rishi. And then the Jamadagni Rishi's son, who's Parshuram, was very, very angry. And then he killed Kartaviri Arjuna. So that is how his life went. And then it is, this verse is also mentioning that he is as powerful or as irresistible as fire, and he is unsurpassable as the ocean. So Parikshit Maharaj will be irresistible and unsurpassable. No one can surpass him. And he will be irresistible. If he attacks someone, no one can defeat him. Going to the next verse, 22nd. And you can see the remaining verses, the comparison and the quality is mentioned in this table. This is coming from our Bhagavad Subodhini of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Text 22. Mrugendra iva vikranto nishevyo himavaniva titikshuru vasudevasau shahishno pitaraviva.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This child will be as strong as a lion and as worthy a shelter as the Himalaya mountains. He will be forbearing like the earth and as tolerant as his parents. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he'll be as strong, as powerful as lion. So lion, he never fails in his chase. If the lion starts chasing someone, that animal is dead. Similarly, the head of the state should never fail in chasing an enemy and some miscreants. If someone is doing some sinful activities, it is not that you are trying for some time and then you forget them. Like if it is difficult to capture them, you leave them aside. No, they should be as strong and good in chase as lion. And Himalaya. So Himalaya mountains, they are worthy of shelter. So Parikshit Maharaj is also worthy of shelter. So he gives shelter to both materialist and spiritualist, just like Himalayas give. Himalaya is famous for its richness. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that there are innumerable caves to live in, numberless trees of good fruits to eat, good springs to drink water from, and profuse drugs and minerals to cure disease. Any man who's not materially prosperous can take shelter of these great mountains, and he will be provided with everything required. So even if you are materialist, you will get shelter out of Himalaya. If you are a spiritualist, you can take shelter of Himalaya and progress. So whether you are a materialist or spiritualist, whatever you are looking for, you can get that from Himalaya. So same thing, Parikshit Maharaj is a great shelter. He will provide shelter to, just like the Supreme Lord. It is not that the Supreme Lord only gives shelter to devotees. He gives shelter to atheists as well. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj will be also giving shelter to everyone. He will be as forbearing as Mother Earth. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that so many disturbances are happening on Earth, which are caused by the inhabitants. So we are staying on Earth, but we are still causing so much disturbance to Mother Earth. And one of the examples is given is that in the modern age, the people have begun to detonate atomic weapons on the surface of the Earth. That is causing pain to Mother Earth. So many atom bombs are getting tested, or they were also used in the war. So that is creating so much disturbance to Mother Earth. But she is still patient and forgiving. Like a mother is forgiving and patient with her child, similarly, Earth is forgiving of us. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj will also be forbearing like Earth. And then he will be as tolerant as his parents. So Parikshit Maharaja's parents, Uttara and Abhimanyu are mentioned. They were very tolerant. So Parikshit Maharaj will be also very tolerant. Verse number 23. Pitamaha sama samye prasade girishopamaha ashrayah sarvabhutanam yatha devo ramashrayaha.
This child will be like the grandfather Yudhiṣṭhira or Brahma in equanimity of mind. He will be munificent like the Lord of the Kailash hill Shiva, and he will be resort of everyone like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who is even the shelter of the goddess of fortune.
So the Lord is called Ramashrayaha. Rama is the goddess of fortune, and she takes the shelter of the Lord. That is why the Lord is called Ramashraya. Ramashraya. But before that, Parikshit Maharaj is compared to Pitamaha. So Pitamaha, he will, just like Pitamaha, he will have equanimity of mind. So here Pitamaha could be referring to Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, who is his grandfather. But also it is possible that it is referring to Brahmaji because he is the grandfather of everyone, all the living entities. So Parikshit Maharaj will have the mental equanimity like that. And in the purport, a very, very important line came. So I have highlighted that. Any responsible executive agent at the top of administration has to tolerate different types of onslaughts from the very persons for whom he works. So the leader will somehow or sometimes he is actually trying to help the people. But the people that he's trying to help, sometimes they themselves will be criticizing him. They will be creating problems for the leader. And at that time, just like Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, just like Brahma, they have equanimity of mind and they will tolerate it. Just like that, the leader has to tolerate. And that is what Parikshit Maharaj will do. And Srila Prabhupada gave an example of gopis. He's saying that the gopis are pure devotees of Krishna. They are the best of the devotees. But they also were criticizing Brahma for creating eyelids. That when the eyelids are closing, then it is obstructing the vision of the Lord. So gopis are always wanting to see the beautiful form of the Lord. But when the eyelids are momentarily closing, they are obstructing their vision of the Lord. So they were criticizing Brahma. What kind of creation you have created? So if gopis, who are the best of the devotees, if they are criticizing Brahma, who created the eyelids for them, then what to speak of other normal human beings of this material world? How can we not expect them to criticize the people who are caring for them, who are leading them? So it is normal. So those who are leaders or even parents, the children are going to criticize you over a period of time. You have to tolerate. You have to be forbearing, just like Mother Earth. You have to be patient and you have to continue. And we will talk a little bit more about this particular the line that Srila Prabhupada has given about leaders and why they should tolerate and why the people who are who they are caring, they are sometimes criticizing them. We will, when it comes to the next slide, we will talk a little bit more on it. So the gopis criticized Brahma, and Brahma had to tolerate it. So similarly, the king should be able to tolerate these onslaughts from their own people. So Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj faced also so many difficulties from his own people, but he remained fixed in his consciousness. His consciousness was, it didn't change because of that. Then here, Lord Shiva, it is mentioned that Parikṣit Maharaj will be as munificent, as merciful, as generous as Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh because he is easily pleased. And Lord Shiva never denies anyone any sort of gifts. So that is how Parikṣit Maharaj will be also like that. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that sometimes some of these boons that Lord Shiva gave, that created problems. So Lord Shiva sometimes gives the gifts even without considering what effect it is going to have. But he still gave. So two examples are given here, that Ravana, he gave boons to Ravana because Ravana did the austerity, he pleased Lord Shiva and he received the benediction, he became very powerful and he even fought with Lord Rama afterwards. Then another example of Vrikasura is mentioned, is also called Bhasmasura. He received the benediction that if he touches the head of anyone, that person's head will turn into ashes, Bhasma. And after receiving this benediction, he wanted to try it on Lord Shiva himself. And then Lord Krishna, somehow or the other, with his tricks, he protected Lord Shiva. And then it is mentioned that he will be, Parikṣit Maharaj will be the resort of everyone. He will be the resort of everyone, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who is even the shelter of the Goddess of Fortune. So resort of everyone means the Lord Narayana maintains everyone. So even Rama, Goddess of Fortune, takes his shelter. That is why he is called Ramashraya. And Srila Prabhupada is referring in this purport that the people in this material world are always running after Lakshmi, but they do not know that she can only stay under the protection of Lord Vishnu. So only by worshipping Lord Vishnu, we can get blessings of Mother Lakshmi. Without Vishnu, getting Lakshmi is an illusion. So as Vishnu gives shelter to all, his devotees who are under the shelter of the Lord can also give protection to others. That is why we actually take shelter from our Guru. Because they are under the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Guru Parampara, they are able to give shelter to others. So similarly, here, Parikṣit Maharaj will be able to give shelter to everyone. Verse number 24. Sarva Sadguna Mahatme Esha Krishnam Anuvratah Rantideva Ivodaro Yayati Riva Dharmikaha. Yes, Vidushimata, go ahead.
This child will be almost as good as Lord Krishna by following his footsteps. In magnanimity, he will become as great as king as Rantideva. And in religion, he will be like Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So now he said that Parikṣit Maharaj will be as good as Lord Krishna. Imagine that, as good as Lord Krishna, by following in his footsteps. That is the most important part. So Parikṣit Maharaj will be following in the footsteps of Krishna. Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So Parikṣit Maharaj will follow that instruction and take shelter of the Supreme Lord. And he will follow the instructions given by the Supreme Lord. And that is how he will develop the qualities which are as good as Lord Shri Krishna. Now, Lord Shri Krishna has 64 primary qualities. Of course, he has unlimited qualities, but 64 at a very high level and primary ones. So living entity can develop 50 of them. That is 78% of those qualities. And just like the iron rod, when it is put into fire, in that association of fire, the iron rod also becomes as hot as fire. And it becomes red hot. right? So it develops the quality. Iron has different quality as fire than fire. But when it is put in association of fire, it also develops the same qualities as fire. So similarly, in association of the Supreme Lord, the devotees also develop these qualities. So how to get association? Srila Prabhupada has given a formula. In the first paragraph itself, around middle of the paragraph, he says, to follow the instructions of the Lord is to associate with the Lord. Very simple formula. If we want association of the Lord, what we have to do? We have to follow the instructions of the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj associated with the Lord from the womb till the last breath. How? Either directly or through following his instructions. So he was in constant association of the Lord because he was following the instructions. And that is how he developed the qualities similar to Lord Shri Krishna. Then it is mentioned that he will have quality of magnanimity like Rantideva. In the 9th canto, this story of Rantideva is going to come, that how he fasted for 48 days and then he was going to break the fast. He's a king, but with his entire family was fasting for not one day, but 48 days he fasted. He was almost about to die. And at that time, at the end of 48 days, he decided to break his fast. And he was going to have some water and some food. But a brāhmana came and asked for some food. So he gave a portion of food to brāhmana. Then a Shudra came. So whatever some other food was there, he gave that food to Shudra. Then a Chandala came with his dogs. So the remaining food and water also was given to the Chandala and for his dogs as well. And he had nothing left. And because they were just on the verge of dying, and still Rantideva gave up, like not even one sip of water he left for him and his family. He was fine to give away everything. Again, this quality of devotees is coming up, that they are selfless. They do not actually worry about their own pain, own suffering. They are ready to give everything for the benefit of others. Actually, all of these people were testing Rantideva's qualities. So they were Indra and Dev and other devatas were there. So when they gave up, Rantideva was ready to give up everything. So then they showed their true form and they offered him all the benedictions. But then Rantidev said that I do not want any benedictions like this, material benedictions. I only want devotion to the Supreme Lord. And if you really want to give me something, then make sure that all the sufferings of all other people you give to me, so that the other living entities, they are free from distress. So he has this broad heart, magnanimous heart. He was not petty. His heart was very broad and magnanimous. So Parikshit Maharaj will be like that. Next, Yayati. Yayati is also there. King Yayati. He will be as religious as King Yayati. So he'll be dharmic like that. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that Yayati did thousands of sacrifices. And that is why Parikshit Maharaj is compared to Yayati. Of course, there are many other things about Yayati which Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. You can have a read through. But related to the dharmic or religiosity, the most important part was that he performed thousands of sacrifices. Parikshit Maharaj will also be like that. He will perform thousands of sacrifices. 25th verse. Dhrutya bali sama krishne Prahlāda iva sadgraha arhate shoshvamedhanam vruddhanam paryupasakaha.
This child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlāda Maharaj, a performer of many Ashwamedh host sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced men.
So he was Parikshit Maharaj is like Bali Maharaj in patience. Bali Maharaj was very patient with Vaman Dev especially. Bali Maharaj is one of the 12 Mahajans, of course, and he offered everything to Vaman Dev, even against the wishes of his own spiritual master Shukracharya. Vaman Dev, after taking everything that Bali Maharaj had in just two steps, as we all know, he still humiliated Bali Maharaj by tying him for not fulfilling his promise of giving the three steps. But Bali went through all of this very patiently and offered himself as well. And that is why he's famous as an example of Atma Nivedana. And Parikshit Maharaj will be a staunch devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, just like Prahlāda Maharaj was. And he will do many Ashwamedha sacrifices, and he will follow the old and experienced people. It is mentioned here. Text 26. Rājarṣinām janayita shasta chotpathagamīnām nigrahita kaleresha bhuvo dharmasya karanāt.
This child will be the father of kings who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. Hare Krishna.
Oh, we have gone to 26. Okay. Okay, take this. Okay, before we go to that 26th verse, as I said, we will talk a little bit more about this leadership. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned there in that purport that any responsible executive agent at the top of administration has to tolerate different types of onslaughts from the very persons for whom he works. So why, I have a question for you, is that why the devotees criticize the leader who is helping them and serving them? Because basically what it is saying is that the leader must learn to tolerate criticism and difficulties from the very people he is serving. So we would be thinking that at least the devotees should not be doing like this. That devotees should not be criticizing their leaders or creating difficulties for them. But we see even from Srila Prabhupada's examples as well that he also faced a lot of difficulties. And anyone who takes some leadership service in Krishna consciousness as well, they will have to tolerate some criticism and difficulties even from the people that they are trying to serve. So my question to all of you is, why the devotees criticize the leader who is helping them and serving them? What are the reasons? Yes, Bhageshwari Mataji.
There may be like two types of leaders. I mean, so one who has newly has become a leader, and the other one who has already been in that leadership position for a while. So in the first scenario, I feel like people sometimes might think, oh, they have been with us till now, and now they have become a leader, and then they are going to, give us all this responsibility and then delegate all the tasks. And people might feel a little bit of jealous in terms of it, or they might still think, okay, they are still on our peer level, but still they have grown up, and then they are kind of ordering. So they might misunderstand in that way.
Okay.
And who are already in the other scenario, who have already been in leadership, sometimes wherever their words or any of their comments or any of their solutions has not been addressed properly, then they might feel a little bit of upset, and then they might criticize as well.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Mataji. Gaurchandra Prabhuji, Shama Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think that the point of view of a leader is different from those of the followers, because he has to engage everyone in the service. And sometimes in that engagement, people might think that there is some sort of favoritism. but actually it is not there, because the leader is thinking from the point of view of service, who is better in that service, and he is trying to bring that person forward, or give that person that service responsibility. So yes, Prabhuji, I think this is one of the reason, because they sometimes feel that there is some sort of favoritism, and that's why there is criticism. That is one point, Prabhuji, that I think.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, what I feel is that, a leader's main role is to actually see how, the people under him, they are progressing in Krishna consciousness. And then the service is a part and parcel of that big goal. And then we all come with some previous samskaras, previous impressions. And then when the leader tries to visualize them and tries to actually, so basically we all have this Hriday Granthi. And when the leader tries to untie it, then that can shake some of our samskaras. And then this is what we have been doing for this lifetime or previous lifetimes. So when that happens, that can bring like some sort of revolution. And so that's why, because it's difficult for us to digest those instructions and to basically follow. And that can really, really, really create a havoc that, they are making us do something that is really impossible. But because of our conditioning, we think that. But when we obviously purify to do strong sadhana, then we can see the things there, and we see and view those suggestions as practical and more valuable, basically. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yes. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's a very trick question, and there are multiple dimensions which we can consider, like, Bhagyashri Mataji, Gaurachandra Prabhuji, and Shama Mataji has mentioned. Just to add on that, so looking at the very nature of our brain to find the negative, we criticize anything, everything, even though something is really helpful for us. But if somebody is spiritual leader or a guide, why would we criticize them is obviously because of our imperfect senses. Having said that, you have also mentioned in multiple occasions that we do not have to follow the leader blindly. We have to use our discretion. If a leader is doing a great job with sincerity to help the devotees to follow the path of Krishna consciousness, even though because of our imperfect senses we are finding fault, then it is entirely our fault. And that is something which is going to delay our progress. But if it is because of the leader has got his own flaws, there's a way to talk about it rather than criticizing and calling them bad names in public. That's entirely forbidden. That is my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Uma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Once the person becomes a leader, expectations from everybody sprang up, and they want that expectations to be fulfilled by everyone, which may be not possible for the leader, even though he or she may be very capable and competent. Everything is not possible for the leader to do. That is one way that dissatisfaction remains with the people who are under the leader. But they must consider that that person is also human, and he has limitations to a great extent, like us. So that consideration must be taken into consideration, Prabhuji. That's what I feel.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. My observation is that expectation grows faster than gratitude.
That is so true, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sudharma Prabhuji, Sudharma Mataji.
I think Aparna Mother just touched upon that, Prabhuji. Like, we all have the 4 defects, so everyone will have their own perspective. So whoever is a leader, we look under those lens. So like Uma Mataji also covered that expectation. Everyone has their own, and to meet that expectation by the leader is very difficult. So yeah, that is a challenge to be a leader.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I would like to add as well, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I think more is like we are not able to stand to the expectation, and in ourselves it gives a bit of what you call a struggle within ourselves, like we are not up to the standard, and that creates a bit within our heart a bit of inferiority complex. And that makes us feel like, oh, we are not as equal as others. And when we see others who are able to do the service are being recognized, that automatically brings a bit of jealousiness within us.
Yeah.
So I think that is the main reason why we start criticizing when there may not be no fault in the lead itself. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Sanyavas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, Dhanvat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji, as most of them covered everything, and one point is mainly we are also doctor at the same, we are also patients. So we people who are guiding us, they walk through the process, they see in the process, when they guide us. So because they walk through, they see that we don't want to. Their leader thinks that the other people should not fall in the same pit or same way which I went. So he will try to help them, but the people have to have their own experiences. So sometimes they have to, if they take it easier, it's fine. Otherwise, they have to go through the service and learn. Like as we say, it's easy to in a painting. If you want to someone come and find the mistakes, so everyone will come and find the mistakes. But if the same person is there, if you find the mistake and you correct them, then no one will find the mistakes because they have to correct it back. So in the same way, when it's as a leader, he always guides the people, but all the people, if ready to walk in that path with the faith and understanding that where we are going through, then it will be fine. Otherwise,
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So many points have been mentioned. Just to summarize, so why the devotees criticize the leader who is helping them and serving them? One of the main reason is because of the conditioned nature of our mind. Even though we have taken the path of Krishna consciousness, it doesn't, like, we don't become pure devotees instantly, right? We still have mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and some goodness. So because of this passion and ignorance that we have, that means we still have a lot of false ego, envy, insecurity that is there in our heart. And because of the lack of goodness, we do not have, and especially in Kali Yuga, lack of goodness means gratitude, humility, respect. These qualities are hardly there in the heart. So criticism becomes default in our heart. So criticism is very cheap. It doesn't require any effort. Appreciation requires some effort. Appreciation requires some good consciousness. And because that purification hasn't happened in the heart, that is why, because of using our conditioned mind, we always look for fault and we do not appreciate the help that we are getting. The second one is, as I mentioned earlier, and some of you also pointed out, the expectations. Expectations creates a lot of problems. Like once the help is given by the leader, it becomes normalized. It becomes like the expectation. Yeah, this I am supposed to get. So people then shift their mind from I am grateful, which is in the beginning, when they are grateful, when they are receiving something, to the mentality that I deserve this and I deserve more. That is why I mentioned that the expectations grow faster than the gratitude. So initially that gratitude is there, but then expectations grow faster than the gratitude, and then we start thinking, I want more. I should be getting more. I should be deserving more. So when that happens, because no one can then meet those expectations, because as Uma Mataji was rightly pointing out, even the leader is a human. He's not Krishna himself, that he can expand himself to thousands of times to help each and every devotee and fulfill all of their expectations. It is humanly impossible. And especially when the expectations are keep growing. So when these expectations are exceeding the reality, then the criticism will take place instead of appreciation. So they are still getting help, but instead of now appreciating, they start criticizing. And of course, sometimes there is a resistance to authority. Some people are very independent. They don't like guidance, correction, or any structure. So they struggle to work under authority. And I think some of you also pointed out jealousy and envy is there sometimes, because the leader represents sometimes something that they desire, but they do not have. Because the leader has some influence, some recognition, some authority, and there is an envy that can create for that thing. So this is an unfortunate situation that a leader must learn to tolerate such criticism and difficulties from the very people he is serving. Now the question will come in mind that if you are helping someone and they are finally going to criticize you and they are going to create difficulties for you, why should you become leader? Who can answer? What is the benefit of becoming, taking the service of leadership or some responsibility in Krishna consciousness? Leadership is finally some service of responsibility that you are taking. What is the benefit? Like, it is a thankless job, right? We can see Srila Prabhupada has said this. That means he has also faced this. That is why he's saying this. And it is a common understanding. Like, I go to this ISKCON Leadership Sangha, or that recently I did this GBC college as well. There are many leaders who are coming together, servant leaders, and they are talking about, and the one constant theme is that the leaders face a lot of challenges from the very people that they are trying to serve. And it is sometimes bewildering that why should I do this if it is such a thankless job? So still, many devotees take up this service of responsibility. Why should they do it? Yes, Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm in no position of a leader from any extent or any but my understanding, Prabhuji, from material perspective, because as a leader, but I can relate that back to the spiritual leaders like yourself. So I think the power of purpose is very important. So when you decide to take up a goal, a mighty mission to help people bring to Krishna consciousness, you also prepare yourself with all the challenges which are going to come. It's not an easy way to lead any team, whether it is a team in a material sense, like leading a team at work, or leading a team for in a spiritual realm is even more important and more tricky, because you are shifting the whole realm of a person from A to B. So the question, to answer your question, Prabhuji, why a person still should take up the leadership role, is the purpose which is driving them to bring the people towards Krishna is very important and worthy. So that will keep them going regardless the challenges.
We are not able to hear you, Prabhuji.
I think Prabhuji, you're on mute.
My coughing. To avoid that, I muted, I forgot. So thank you, Mataji. So it is for the higher purpose that they have taken, and that is why they can continue even though they are facing difficulties. Gaurchandra Prabhuji or Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So for Prabhuji, my take would be that if everyone is nice to us, then there is no opportunity for us to practice Tranadapi Sunichena. So we have to, so yeah, it's really important that we, and then by tolerating, we really can attract the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yeah, this would be my...
Yeah, very good point, Prabhuji. Excellent. Sanyas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. For our self-purification, Prabhuji. So we don't know where we are hurt, where we are stuck. And we are always in a position of receiving. But when we lead, then we are in the process of giving. So, and giving unconditionally is as we do with the family, also in the family, also we do so much as a head of the family, you become a leader of the family. And you see, but you're doing it for family. So you can know it's for my family. But when you see that as a family concept, okay, everyone is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So then your own exposure to the whole world becomes as the Krishna's servant, and I have to serve everyone. So when that concept goes, then your tolerance also increasing, and it's for self-purification to go back to Krishna.
Yeah, very good point, Prabhuji. Very good. It is for our own purification, and it broadens our horizon that this family is not just my blood relatives, but the entire world is my family, and I have to help them. Yeah, excellent. Margi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. To please Krishna and Guru.
Yes, excellent. Very brief, but to the point. Yes, very good. Vidushi Mataji, Uma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. As Krishna says, yat yat acharita shreshta tat tat deveta janaha. So if you have good qualities, and if Guru bestows that, or teacher bestows that privilege of being leading something, then do it to the best of your ability. And because you have that quality, they've recognized it, and then others can see that quality and aspire to that quality, and try to associate with you to get that quality. So
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Shama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that those who preach this message of devotional service to everyone, they are most dear to me. So, if we want to become most dear to Krishna, we have to preach this message no matter what is coming in our way.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yes. Thank you very much. So, very wonderful points you have mentioned. So, what is in it? What is it for the leader in this service? So, first of all, I think I'm just going to summarize all the points that you have mentioned. So, it purifies the leader. The tolerance burns the false ego. So, when we are tolerating something, like false ego means I will just take revenge, I will retaliate. But tolerance, it actually burns that false ego. It purifies in a different way as well. That what is our purpose? As the purpose was mentioned in the first point, are we actually doing this service to get some recognition, that other people will praise me, other people will give me respect, it will give me power and control? Because if those are kind of motivations that we have, then very soon our the motivation that is there to continue that service will wither down. It will just go away quickly, because that was what you are looking for, and you are not going to get it. You may get little bit here and there, but it will not be regular. But if your purpose is to serve Krishna and not looking for these external things, then you will continue. So your purpose also gets purified. Even if you have taken this service for the wrong purpose, then still you will get purified from that. And as Gaurchandra Prabhuji was mentioning earlier, that it gives us the practice. Sorry, it gives us the opportunity to practice Trunadipi Sunichena, also Amanina Manadena. So you have to actually keep giving respect to others and not expect respect from others. So it gives us the opportunity to do it. The second reason is, like, first one is it purifies the leader. The second one is it gives rapid spiritual growth. It is rapid. The more difficulties that you get, your progress in Krishna consciousness just accelerates. Like when you are in a comfort zone, you are doing your devotional service in comfort zone, you are getting purified, but the purification is very slow. If you want to accelerate your purification, take some service of responsibility and see how it works out for you. It quickly exposes our false ego, our attachment to the respect that may have, or fear for criticism that we may have, and it just smashes it. And it develops the humility, tolerance, surrender to Krishna. Because when such problems come, you have to surrender to Krishna. You can't then have shelter of any other things. The third important thing is where they are also related. The third one is also, it is an opportunity to develop Vaishnava qualities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said he likes those Vaishnava qualities in the devotees. Krishna likes those qualities in devotees. He mentions those qualities so many times in Bhagavad Gita itself, in Bhagavatam also. Why these are all mentioned? Because they are pleasing to Krishna. So this service gives an opportunity to develop those Vaishnava qualities: compassion, tolerance, detachment from praise, dependence on Krishna. All of these will become developed. And as Shama Mataji was mentioning, it pleases Krishna and it invokes mercy of Krishna. So Krishna gives special attention to those who take responsibility. So if you require some special attention from Krishna, then there is no other way. You can just keep doing your own service on your own and just get little attention, some mercy. But if you want special attention, faster purification, opportunity to develop the qualities quickly, Vaishnava qualities quickly, and you want to purify yourselves quickly, anartha nivritti you want to do, then the easiest way is to take some responsibility in Krishna consciousness. And then your desire will be fulfilled. Hare Krishna. Let us move on. There was another point that we had seen. Association with Krishna. So we saw in 24th verse that how we can associate with Krishna is to follow the instruction of the Lord, is to associate with the Lord. So these two things that we have seen. We have already read verse number 26, right? This child will be the father of the kings, who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and chorister. So he will be father of rājarṣis. Look, Parīkṣit Mahārāja is just born. And the brāhmaṇas are talking about he becoming a father of other rājarṣis. Isn't that amazing? Like their astrology is so wonderful that they can even think about Janmejaya Maharaj, who is the son of Parīkṣit Mahārāja, and he was also a rājarṣi. And they could foresee that, even when the child was just born. So he will be a father of rājarṣis, and he will be the chastiser of the upstarts for the sake of world peace and religion. So he will chastise even personality of Kali to maintain the world peace and maintain the religion. 27 and 28 is giving further description of Mahārāja Parīkṣit's death now. Now the child is born. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj has asked about his qualities, and they are talking about how the child is going to die. Takshadaatmano mrutyum dvijaputropasarjitat prapasyat upashrutya mukta sanga padam harehe. Aparna Mataji.
After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of brāhmana, he will get himself freed from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. Hare Krishna.
Again, you're muted, Prabhuji. We can't hear you.
Sorry, I was again mute. Jidnyasitatmayatharthyo munirvyasasutadasau hitvedam nrupagangayam yasyatyattha kuto bhayam. Translation.
After inquiring about a proper self-knowledge from the son of Vyasadeva, who will be a great philosopher, he will renounce all material attachments and achieve a life of fearlessness.
So his detachment and glorious departure is mentioned in these two verses. So after hearing about his death, so Parīkṣit Maharaj will hear about how he's going to die in advance. That is what the brāhmaṇas are telling. Which will be caused by the snake bird, which will be sent by brāhmana's son. And at that time, he will get himself freed from everything. All the material attachment, he will get freed. And then he will surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and take shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport of 27, the first line, material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord go ill together. And in the Bhagavad Gita as well, Krishna has said, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Apavrita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Samadhavana Vidhiyate. That those who are Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, who are in material attached, they are in this enjoyment, sense gratification. For them, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi will not come. The single pointed focus on Krishna consciousness will not come. And here as well, it is mentioned, material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord go ill together. So if we remain materially attached, then we cannot progress spiritually. And Srila Prabhupada uses, like towards the end of this purport, he says, he made the best use of the bad bargain. He got the curse to die in 7 days. But he is going to use that curse as it is a bad bargain. Getting a curse to die is a bad bargain. But he's going to make a best use of that. How? He heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. So that is how he is going to make the best use of the bad bargain. So that curse did not remain curse for him. It became a boon. It became a benediction. Because he was able to hear now 7 days, 7 nights Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. That is the amazing thing. And verse number 28 is mentioning, he will ask about self-knowledge. Proper self-knowledge from the son of Vyasadeva. So when he meets Shukadeva Goswami, he is going to ask about the self-knowledge from the son of Vyasadeva. And it is predicted that Shukadeva Goswami is also going to be a great philosopher. He is also not born yet. But it is now predicted, while predicting about Parīkṣit Mahārāja, they are also predicting about Vyasadeva's son, who is going to be a great philosopher. And it is mentioned that Parīkṣit Mahārāja will renounce material attachment, achieve a life of fearlessness. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully explains this fearlessness in the purport. So you should read this purport. He is mentioning that everyone in this material world are fearful. And that fearfulness is called anxiety. And he compares this as the prisoners. So this material world is a prison. And we are all the prisoners. And we are always fearful, as like any prisoner would be in a prison house. No one is allowed to break any rules and regulations in a prison. If they break any rules and regulation, then their prison term is extended. Similarly, if we break the rules and regulations of this material world as well, our prison term here, like we take multiple more lifetimes. And the liberation means coming out of this material world, coming out of this prison house. And this is possible, Srila Prabhupada is giving the solution here. This is possible only when the anxiety is changed to the devotional service to the Lord. Towards the middle of the paragraph, also towards the, 2/3 of the paragraph, the first paragraph itself, he's saying, this is possible only when the anxiety is changed to devotional service to the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture which tells us how to actually change the anxiety in the material world that we have to the devotional service to the Lord. And that is how we can make progress. Very amazing. 29th verse. Iti radya upadishya viprajatak kovidaha labdha pachitaya sarve pratijagmu swakan grahan.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead.
Thus, those who were expert in astrological knowledge and in performance of the birth ceremony instructed King Yudhiṣṭhira about the future history of his child. Then, being sumptuously remunerated, they all return to their respective homes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So thus, all these brāhmaṇas have explained to Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj about Parikshit's future qualities. And this entire life has been explained very briefly in few verses. What qualities he's going to develop, like whom, and how glorious he's going to be. So they were expert, like Srila Prabhupada is explaining, that the Vedas are the storehouse of knowledge, both material and spiritual. Vedas explains even the martial arts like the Dhanurvidya, and also the astrology, which is called Jataka. And those who knows this astrology or Jataka, they can calculate and predict everything based on the birth time and birthplace. And that is called, they will create a chart that is called the Lagna, where you are born, and then what is the position of the other planets, and how the planets are going to move in your life span. Based on that, they can actually understand how things are going to be in your life. So Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj understood how Parīkṣit Maharaj is going to be a rājarṣi. He was pleased, and then he gave sufficiently, he rewarded the brāhmaṇas sufficiently, and then they left. Now, verse number 30 onwards, it is mentioned how Parīkṣit Maharaj grows and Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj perform Ashwamedha Yagyas. So that is described here, verse number 30. स एष लोके विख्यातः परीक्षित् इति यत् प्रभुः पूर्वं दृष्टमनुध्यायन् परीक्षेत नरेष्विह.
So his son would become famous in the world as Pariksit, examiner, because he would come to examine all human beings in his search after that personality whom he saw before his birth. Thus he would come to constantly contemplate him.
Yes. So he will be known as Parikshit. Parikshit means examiner. Why? Because he's examining everyone, like each person he's seeing, he's looking at, he's scanning. Oh, I saw this great personality while I was in the womb, and he was looking like this. So he's examining to find out whether this person that I'm seeing in front, is he like the Supreme Lord? Is he the person that I saw in the womb? So he's always searching for the Supreme Lord whenever he is looking at someone. And that is how he will constantly remember the Supreme Lord. So he's in a constant remembrance. That means it is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So he's doing the Vishnu Smaranam, remembrance of the Supreme Lord constantly. And that is why it is mentioned that the Lord is always with him, because he's remembering the Lord. He was always performing devotional service through this Smaranam. In the second paragraph, if you see, Srila Jiva Goswami is quoted by Srila Prabhupada here. Srila Jiva Goswami remarks in this connection that every child, if given an impression of the Lord from his very childhood, certainly becomes a great devotee of the Lord like Mahārāja Parīkṣit. Even if our children are not as fortunate, or we are not as fortunate as getting darshan of the Supreme Lord within the womb, like Parīkṣit Maharaj got, but what we can do is at least give the impressions or the samskaras of Krishna consciousness when the child is very, very young. That is actually our responsibility, to give that impression, give that samskara. And if we do that, then certainly the child will become a great devotee like Mahārāja Parīkṣit over a period of time. And Srila Prabhupada actually mentions his own story, how his father gave him Radha Krishna deities when he was 4 or 5 years old. And there was a temple of Radha Govindaji close to in his neighborhood. And this child, Srila Prabhupada, will always go to this temple and see how the deities worship there in that temple. And then looking at that, he will imitate how, like that worship he's seeing in a temple, he will imitate by doing the worship with his deities that he was given by his father. And the father will be always watching what he's doing. And as you know, he also did some Rath Yatra when he was a small child. And then Srila Prabhupada is mentioning over a period of time, because of he went to college and because of the other influences, he was not continuing his Krishna consciousness at that point. But as soon as he met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj in his youth, again, all of those samskaras which his father had given him at the childhood, again came back, and then he continued his journey of Krishna consciousness. And then there is also, of course, the example of Prahlāda Maharaj, which is again quoted in the purport, that he got the impressions in the womb of his mother, and that is how he also became a great devotee. Next verse. Sa Rajaputro Vavrudhe Ashu Shukla Ivodupaha Apuryamanaha Pitrubhi Kashtabhiri Vasonvaham.
As the moon in its waxing fortnight develops day after day, so the royal prince Parīkṣit very soon developed luxuriantly under the care and full facilities of his guardian grandfathers. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So Pariksit Maharaj was very fortunate. Having one grandfather is so fortunate, because a grandfather will always take care and protect, give all the love. And Pariksit Maharaj had 5 grandfathers. Very loving, very caring, very powerful. And they were teaching him. And just like the moon waxing fortnight, the moon grows day by day. Pariksit also started growing day by day. 32. Yakshamaano ashwamedhena nyatidroha jihasaya raja labdadano daddhau nanyatra karadandayoho.
Just at this time, King Yudhiṣṭhira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get freed from sins incurred from fighting with kinsmen. But he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus funds outside of fines and tax collection.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to do Ashwamedha Yajna, which is already mentioned. If you remember a few chapters before, it was mentioned that Yudhishthira Maharaj did 3 Ashwamedha Yajnas. And then his glories were equivalent to Indra's glory, who has done 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. So those same Ashwamedha Yajnas are being referred here. So Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to do Ashwamedha Yajna to rid himself of the sins incurred by killing his relatives. And his mindset, how he was feeling that he is responsible for the massacre of the Kurukshetra, all of that we have discussed. But Ashwamedha Yajna is not like a small Yajna. It is very expensive to do. But he did not have, like King Yudhishthira did not have enough money to do Ashwamedha Yajna. Can you imagine this? His treasury was almost empty because of the war. And there were no surplus funds. Even the taxes on fines which were getting collected, they were just enough for the state budget. So that was his challenge. He wanted to do Ashwamedha Yajna to remove the sins, but he did not have enough money. So Krishna has to give him some solution. Tad abhipretam alakshya bhratarochyuta choditaha dhanam prahinam ajahur udiccha dishi bhurishaha.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Aparna Mataji, you can do this. Ashoka Mataji, you can do the next one.
Sure. Understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north left by King Marutta. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so King Maruttas. So Lord Shri Krishna, seeing this difficulty of Yudhishthira Maharaj, he gave the advice. He said that to Pandavas, go and collect all the riches left from the north, where King Marutta, he had done some sacrifices, like he had done hundreds of sacrifices, and he had left all his riches there. Marutta was the king much before Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he satisfied the Lord and he received a mountain of gold. Marutta received a mountain of gold as one of the benedictions from the Lord. And he used all of that gold to do further sacrifices. So he would regularly do sacrifices, and then every time he would give brāhmaṇas a lot of gold, lot of grains, lot of gifts they will be given. And many times brāhmaṇas, they were not able to carry so much wealth that was given to them. They will leave some behind. They will leave some gold behind. Can you imagine this? They will just leave it behind. And the king will not pick it up because he is thinking, I have already given it to Brahmana. I will not take it back. Other citizens will not be also taking it because they will think that this is Brahmana's property. So all that which will be left behind, that remained for years and years without being touched by anyone. And whenever a sacrifice is done, he will use gold pots, gold plates, paraphernalia. And because it is used, he will just leave it behind. And the next sacrifice he will do, he will use another gold pots and pans. And again, he will leave behind. So all of that was lying there. And Krishna knew, Achyuta knew that it is there. So he asked the Pandavas to go and collect this unclaimed wealth. And Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is allowed to claim that unclaimed wealth because everything within the kingdom is king's property. So from that perspective, he is also not breaking any principles. So that is why Krishna asked the king to go and collect all of that wealth and use that for Krishna, for the sacrifice. So all of this wealth, if it is collected and used for himself, then that will be a problem. But if you are using it for pleasing Krishna, then that is fine. 34th verse. Tena sambhruta sambharo dharmaputro Yudhiṣṭhirah Vājimedhais tribhirbhito yadnai samayajadharim.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. By those riches, the king could procure the ingredients for 3 horse sacrifices. Thus, the pious king Yudhiṣṭhira, who was very fearful, after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna made sure that 34, the king could procure. Yeah, so from this wealth that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj received, he performed 3 horse sacrifices. And what was the purpose? To please Lord Hari. It is mentioned that he did these sacrifices to please Lord Hari. And Srila Prabhupada has written a long purport for this, explaining that all of these performing the sacrifices, so expensive sacrifices, are impossible to do in Kali Yuga. We do not have enough wealth. We do not have the right brāhmaṇas to do the sacrifices. But for Kali Yuga, the simple sacrifice is mentioned. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to propagate the Sankirtan movement of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the sacrifice which is recommended. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. In Bhagavad Gita as well, it is mentioned that this is the best of the sacrifice. So this japa yajna has to be done every day. Very simple and easy to do. No money is required. And that pleases the Lord Hari very quickly. So this is the yajna that we should be doing in the Kali Yuga. Verse number 35. Ahuto Bhagavan Radnya Yajayitva Dvijairnrupam Uvasa Katichin Masan Suvridhan Priya Kamyaya.
Hare Krishna only. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified, twice-born brāhmaṇas. After that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained of humans. Hare Krishna.
So Lord Krishna made sure that the yajnas are done properly by the qualified brāhmaṇas who knows how to do the yajna properly. So he made sure that such brahmanas are doing those 3 yajnas that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj wanted to do. And after that, the Lord stayed there for some time, few months. And this has already been explained earlier, that how Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked him to stay. Earlier, Kunti Maharani asked him to stay, but then Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked him to stay, and then he stayed there for a few months. So the same few months are mentioned here again. Last verse. Tato राज्ञाभ्यनुज्ञातः कृष्णया सह बन्धुभिः ययो द्वारवतीं ब्रह्मन् सार्जुनो यदुभिर्वृतः.
O Shaunaka, thereafter the Lord, having bade farewell to King Yudhiṣṭhira, Draupadi, and other relatives, started for the city of Dwarka, accompanied by Arjuna and other members of the Yadu dynasty. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Lord then bade farewell to Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, Draupadi and others, Subhadra, Kunti Maharani, everyone, and then started for Dwarka along with Arjuna and others from the Yadu dynasty. And then we saw, like while going, then Hastinapur Vasis, how he praised, how they praised and how they farewelled Krishna. And then when he arrived in Dwarka, how he was welcomed in Dwarka. That is all has been seen previously. So that is where this chapter is finishing. Very wonderful chapter. Glorification of Mahārāja Parīkṣit has been given. How he is born, what kind of qualities he is going to have, and his activities will be explained in 17th and 18th chapter later in the Bhagavata. So we will pause here and see if there are any comments, questions, reflections, or any other points that anyone wants to mention. Yes, Sudharma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for beautifully covering this chapter, Prabhuji. And very nice. You covered about the leadership thing, and got a lot of insights from that. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. This is regarding the question initially Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked. This is in the text 18, where he's asking about whether before 17, it was mentioned like definitely the child is going to become a devotee of the Lord, right? And he will have qualified with all good qualities. But still, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking if he will become a saintly king who will be glorified for his achievements. So just trying to understand, Prabhuji, of course you explained, and Prabhupada also mentioned in the purport, like on the top of becoming a devotee, a king should also be have a proper heir to the throne. He should be so having those qualities. But knowing Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is a great devotee of Krishna, when he knew like Parikshit Maharaj is going to be a great devotee, will that not be enough for him? Why would he even ask that question? Like if he's a devotee, then he's going to have all the qualities of a better king, right? Then
Yeah.
I was thinking like why this question was even asked, whether he will have a saintly heir to the throne. He will become
Yeah, good question. Mataji, I think what is happening here is in the previous verse, just the previous verse, 17th verse, it was just mentioned that he will be a great devotee, and it was a brief point that was mentioned by the brāhmaṇas earlier. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj wants to know further, and that is why he has asked this pointed question that is he going to be as good as the other devotees, other rājarṣis which have happened in the dynasty. So that is a question which is asking brāhmaṇas to explain it further. So that is where then brāhmaṇas have elaborated the verse number 17 into this next few verses, where they are explaining how he is going to be having various different qualities and comparing him with various different other great personalities. So this is like a question which is probing further onto the point that they have mentioned.
Right. Okay.
He wants to hear in more details.
Right. Not like, he's not just happy with just him being a devotee, or not in that point of view.
No, not from that point of view.
Right. Okay.
What other qualities he's going to have?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Wonderful class. Can't say enough to thank you. I've got 3 questions, Prabhuji.
As
How
usual, go ahead.
many, how many can I take in the first round? 2?
Let's go for the one question and then we will come
Okay.
back.
Sure. So this question, Prabhuji, is actually my reflection as well. In verse number 24, it says, it's been said beautifully that to follow the instruction of the Lord is to associate with the Lord. Right. So, Prabhuji, this is my reflection, a wonderful point. I want to sit with this point for some time. So, my question is, and my understanding is we are chanting 16 rounds minimum. We are reading scriptures in the association of devotees, and we are also doing some services here and there. So, is it all enough to say that we are associating with the Lord? Or do we need to look for certain qualities or certain traits to make sure that we are actually associating with the Lord, so that we are following his instruction, if that makes sense?
Yeah, his instruction is very specific. He is asking for Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Mam Ekam Sharanam. So he is asking us to make him the top priority in our life and the only priority in our life. Mam Ekam. And this is a journey. It doesn't happen, like very rarely it happens that we start chanting the 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds, and we are doing it very nicely, very perfectly, and Krishna becomes our first priority and the only priority. We take shelter of so many things in this material world because we are conditioned like that. We think that, okay, my money will save me, my friends will save me, my family will save me, my so many other material things that I have, my skills, so many things will save me when the time comes. And those shelters we are clinging to because we are habitual to clinging to these material things. And over a period of time, by constant association of devotees who have taken shelter of Krishna instead of these material things, in that association, as well as by Krishna's arrangement, we will have face some challenges in our life where we will see that these material things are not providing us the shelter that we are hoping for. Then with that, our purification will happen. And then we will take more and more shelter of Krishna. So, yes, we are getting Krishna's association by following those instructions. But that association becomes stronger and stronger or closer and closer the more perfectly we keep following the instructions. It is like we are chanting now, but we are chanting inattentively. And Krishna is coming to give us association. So Krishna is sitting in front of us and giving us association, but we are not taking the association yet. Our mind is wandering. So Krishna is sitting here, but we are thinking about something else. We are thinking about some our to-do list, our office, our other things, what I am going to do or whatever. That means we are not paying attention to Krishna. So following the instruction is giving us the association, but we are not yet purified enough to take that association. So over a period of time, by following the instructions and by being in association with others, we will follow those instructions properly. And then to the degree that we are following those instructions properly, we will feel the association of Krishna that much. Ye yatha mam prapaddante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. We will also feel like that. Because we are not following the instructions properly, that is why we are not able to feel Krishna's association properly at this point. He is giving us association just by following the instructions. Is that okay?
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Should I come back for my second question or can I
Yes,
carry
let
on?
us take Bhageshwari Mataji's point or question or whatever, and then we will come back.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Because I'll first talk about the reflection, and then I have a one more question for it. Actually liked the way how you explained how a leader should be, and what are the benefits of becoming a leader, even having all these criticisms, etc. So that's kind of a very good explanation, Prabhuji. And coming back to the question, so you have explained about how people are criticizing when a leader is truly serving. But what if on the other way, say if the leader is doing some kind of faults, it's not always, like few faults, and sometimes some of the actions may be whimsically taken without knowing to the people, etc. So that also causes some friction. And in that way, can we say that people are criticizing, or I mean, how to bridge that gap, Prabhuji? And sometimes they might be true, or they might be correct, and people doesn't know it. And sometimes they might be wrong, and people might be really finding the faults. So
Yeah, understood. So sometimes it is like we are talking about, we talked about a scenario where even though the leader is serving and helping the devotees, and they are still criticizing and creating a problem. But your question is, what if the leader is not good leader?
I mean, not a completely good leader, but then some of the faults or something. Yeah.
He or she may still have various challenges, and we talked about that because we talked about that the leader will get purified faster, and that clearly says that the leader is not yet purified. The leader also has challenges. They are also sadhakas. They have just taken some extra responsibility to help others. So best thing for us to do is to see how we are getting benefited. Like as I mentioned earlier as well, that criticism is very cheap. Appreciation requires some effort. So the leader is also a volunteer, isn't it? He doesn't have to actually help you or help others. So even that activity itself, or this consciousness that the leader is trying to help others, and that help is actually giving me some benefit, that should also itself should create gratitude into our heart. And we should focus more on that gratitude instead of focusing on the fault. The leader will have his own leaders who has the responsibility of correcting the faults that the leader has. The leaders will also have his equals, and they will also correct or provide some feedback or whatever that needs to be given to him or her, and that way the leader can correct. And even if in some situation that you want to actually mention something directly to the leader, there are always better ways to actually mention it instead of appearing that we are very critical. So there are ways that it can be mentioned which will not come out as a problem. That the leader may already have a lot of problems. You instead of creating another problem, you can go and project it and give that solution, how that can be solved. And then that may be actually taken very positively because you are not coming as a problem, but as a solution to the problem. And that way it can be accepted by those who are there. But otherwise, it becomes like too overwhelming for the leaders as well. They are already doing many things. And yes, your point may be right, but it is 100 problem on top of the other 99 problems that they may be looking at.
Yeah.
So yes, it is the leader may not be a pure devotee. That is correct, and that is acknowledged in the discussion that we did earlier. But who should be actually providing that feedback to the leader is we have to actually follow some Vaishnava etiquettes in that. We should leave that to his seniors, his equals, and then if there are if no such equals or seniors around, if you want to pass it on, then pass it on in a way that it will help instead of create problems. And that way it will be accepted, and it will be the leader will be very grateful that he's getting such help from others. Is that okay?
Yeah, I like this answer, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Aparna Mataji, coming back.
Thank you, Prabhuji. My question is actually kind of related to what Bhageshwari Mataji asked, Prabhuji. So let's say there's a spiritual leader whom we respect. Let's say I'm talking about a hypothetical situation. There's a spiritual leader. I respect them really, really, staunchly or something like that. And if in my interaction I come across a certain behavior which I think is of a very worldly behavior, maybe I find them lying or I find them doing something which is not befitting their level of respect which I'm looking at them. So Prabhuji, it's more like internal question. Should I really let that specific behavior determine my respect for them? Or should I just say, okay, this can happen, he's also human, or they are also a human being, or she's also a human being, keep moving on, and just entirely neglect that behavior? So in that, what is the best approach, Prabhuji, being a Vaishnava, following the Vaishnava Sadachar? Should we just overlook entirely and keep respecting them the way I was respecting them before? Or should I have a rethink and consider how I can interact with them or something like that?
Yeah. So, very good question, Mataji. I think what we have to actually look at, and the most important part, is we join Krishna consciousness movement because we want to become devotee of Krishna. That is the whole purpose. We want to develop love for Krishna.
Absolutely.
So we should always keep our goal fixed. We should not get deviated in like this small things, other things that may come out.
Sure.
If we are focused on the goal, then the smaller things will not matter. We will be able to tolerate, and we will be able to overlook them. But if our goal is not fixed, our eyes are not fixed on the goal, then our eyes will actually start looking here and there. And that will create problems for us. So as long as someone is able to help us to achieve that goal, that association is right association for us. If the problems that we are seeing in that devotee, or the problems like the anarthas that the devotee who's guiding us, if that anartha is big enough that we are not able to actually now go towards Krishna, then it is better for us to look for some other association. That is why Rupa Goswami is very specific. He said, Sajatiya Ashaye Snigdha. That kind of association we should be look. Sajatiya Asha. They have similar desire than like us, and they are snigdha, they are kind enough, and they are advanced enough so that they can guide us. That kind of association is going to lead us towards Krishna. And even if they are not pure devotees, if they have similar desires like us to progress towards Krishna, they have similar desires of like us to serve Krishna in a specific way, and they are kind enough to actually help us and advanced enough to guide us, then we should take that association. And there are minor challenges here and there, whatever problems, we should just ignore them. But if those defects, those anarthas that the leader has, if they are big enough by which our Krishna consciousness is getting harmed, then we should keep respectful distance from them. We should always have reasonable faith, not blind faith. Blind faith is, well, no matter what the leader is doing, we will be blindly following them. That is not what Srila Prabhupada is asking us to do, or even Krishna is asking us to do. We can ask questions. We can ask for clarifications if you have doubts and whatever. And that way, we should have a reasonable faith and then move on. Otherwise, if we become a blind followers, that will, the leader is also falling into a well, and behind them, we are also falling in the well instead of going towards Krishna. So that should not be happening.
Sure.
So
Thank
we
you,
should
Prabhuji.
be
Is there any
keeping our eyes
example of
open.
Sure. Prabhuji, can you give us an example of a blind faith? Because I can't envision following a leader blindly in this current world. Like, what does a blind faith would mean? Because we are an aware people. We know what is right, what is wrong in material sense. So what can really be called as she or he is blindly following someone? So can you...
Blind faith is like there can be lots of examples. For one simple example is we should know what is there in Bhagavad Gita. If we know what is mentioned, what knowledge is Krishna giving to us from Bhagavad Gita, then we can know whether the devotee who's speaking about Bhagavad Gita is giving the knowledge as it is or not. Otherwise, of course, there are many devotees, they have no knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And then anyone speaks on the spiritual topics, they feel that, oh, such and such guru or Baba is like amazing. And they will be suddenly hundreds of followers the person will have. And the person is not following, possibly, the message of Krishna. So how can that person lead others towards Krishna? If you follow such people, then that is a blind following. So that is one. The other would be someone is still following properly, they are giving Krishna's message properly, but they have a lot of anarthas of their own heart currently. And because of those anarthas, they may deviate. Like originally they were on the right path, and that's why you started following them. But now they have deviated from the path. And you are following them on that deviated way, and you continue on that deviated way behind them. That is also blind following. So you have to actually keep your eyes open and see how things are happening. Are we going towards Krishna? And actually, this is a good point. At the end of the year, this is like we are finishing 2025. We should do this introspection regularly, but at least once in a year, we should check what kind of progress we are making in Krishna consciousness. What progress did I do in the last 1 year on my Krishna consciousness, on Siddhanta, on the scripture side, on my chanting, in my devotee association, in my Vaishnava etiquette, all of these aspects of devotional service that we do, what kind of progress I have made? And what progress I want to make in 2026. So that is our milestone, like a small goal. Yes, the big goal is, yes, I want to actually have love for Krishna. But that is a bit distant goal. As in the project management, project managers would know, we need to have milestones in between. So that when we achieve that milestone, we know that, okay, I am going towards that goal. So you should have developed some goal for 2025, and you should check whether you have achieved that goal and how we have progressed, and also create at least some other small goal for 2026 or 6 months or quarter, and see how you are progressing towards that goal during the year 2026. And that is how we can keep going towards our goal and without blindly following anyone. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, wonderful. Thank you. And that covers my third question as well. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Nice.
Hare
Excellent.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Are there any other final thoughts, reflections, or comments instead of questions? Okay. If not, then we are going to take now 2 weeks of break. So next week and the week after, we are not going to have a session, a Wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam session. Many of the devotees, as we can see, some of the devotees are already gone to India, and some more are going. And because of that, we won't have everyone attending. So we'll be taking 2 weeks of break, and then we'll continue. I think from 11th of January, we will continue. Okay. So we'll pause here, and we will start from 13th chapter on the 11th of January. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare